flag taken.
Enemy flag carrier is there.
Red flag.
Minding my business, just enjoying myself.
UnrealEngine 3 uses a per-pixel lighting model, which allows for advanced effects like high dynamic range lighting, as you can see on this fountain. And finally, our mesh processing tool then compares the two models and stores the difference in a normal map texture. The engine then draws the low-res asset with this normal map. Now we'll take a look at some of the new lighting features in UnrealEngine 3. This light, for example, has a cowling that casts soft shadows on the scene around it. This is accomplished using a light function. In this case, the function takes two cube maps, one very crisp and the other blurred, to any light, and control how that light displays within the world. In this case, it processes a simple change in brightness. Engine 3 allows total control over how objects interact with the environment. All of the objects in this scene are physically responsive in some way. They can be picked up and thrown around within the environment. Lighting and material effects. And this demonstration shows objects that glow, give off light, and so on. Physical objects cast dynamic shadows as you would expect. UnrealEngine 3 gives artists complete control over powerful pixel shader 2.0 and 3.0 effects. All materials in this level were created by a level designer and required no programming whatsoever. This next object demonstrates frame buffer distortion. As the camera moves around the object, the surrounding scene becomes distorted by the material. Here we have another lighting function, a stained glass environment that is being rotated along the cube. Because it's a light, it both attenuates and shadows realistically.
Before we continue, let's stop a moment and take a look at some of the key features of this demo. Much of what you see was built with Quixel Megascan assets, but this isn't noise. These are the triangles, each a different color. Most are so small that they look like noise. Without GI, all of that beautiful lighting is gone. With Lumen enabled, we can move the light and the bounce changes instantly. Impact on gameplay.
Nice.
Any light
That's-
source can move while
it
still
might
having
be.
beautiful bounce lighting.
The latest release of Unreal Engine builds upon the groundbreaking feature set released in UE5 to add a new level of robustness, efficiency, and accessibility with the needs of different sectors in mind. Next up, we've laid the groundwork for Lumen, Nanite, and Virtual Shadow maps to support games and experiences running at 60 FPS on next-gen consoles and capable PCs. Nanite has been updated with a programmable rasterizer to allow for material-driven animations and deformations via world position offset, as well as opacity masks. Here we're using it to animate leaves blowing in the wind on Nanite-based foliage. World Partition also features better source control workflows, just one of the new features for improved developer efficiency, which also include virtual assets for faster and more efficient data syncing, pipeline state object caching for DX12, and on-demand shader compilation. Unreal Engine 5.1 sees significant improvements in performance and usability for in-camera VFX workflows that apply equally to the broadcast and live events space. The virtual camera system is now more responsive and reliable. Improvements to Sequencer include support for constraints. Enhancements to the modeling toolset include new functions for geometry scripting, UV editor improvements to handle more complex assets, and a new pattern tool. Last but not least, MetaSounds now offers additional node types, support for various multi-channel output formats, and enhanced usability. First up, Unreal Engine 5.2 offers an early look at a new procedural content generation framework that makes creating large worlds fast and efficient. You can use the in-editor PCG tools to define rules and parameters to populate large scenes with UE assets of your choice. Create is a new way of authoring materials that gives you more control over the look and feel of objects. It's particularly great at creating layered looks, such as dirt on clear coat paint, or something more complex like this opal material. In pre-production, they can shoot with multiple VCams simultaneously and create sophisticated layered camera moves to better visualize shots for production.
Unreal Engine 5.3 brings wide-ranging improvements to existing core UE5 features. With sparse volume textures, you can store and play back baked simulation data for volumetric effects such as smoke and fire. Next up, an experimental new skeletal editor provides you with a variety of tools for working with your skeletal meshes, including the ability to paint skin weights. Another experimental feature set introduces a new panel cloth editor that delivers better looking simulations and adds support for a non-destructive cloth simulation workflow where you can trade off speed for precision, allowing for more complex scene geometry and lighting than previously possible. We've also added a new Cinecam rig rail actor that enables filmmakers to emulate traditional camera movement along tracks or on dollies.
Hey everyone! Unreal Engine 5.4 is here. UE 5.4 has powerful new tools for setting up and animating characters directly in the editor. It makes it faster and easier to get great results when using bipedal character animation of known skeletal types. Also a suite of new functions that make the deformer graph more accessible. For animation authoring, we've focused on making our tools more intuitive and robust while streamlining workflows. Case in point, animation-friendly gizmos means you can quickly and easily pose characters using just the middle mouse button. Motion matching is now more robust, performant, and memory scalable. Now production ready, this toolkit is used to select and transition animation clips at runtime by searching a database of captured animation, using the current motion information of the character in the game as the key. There's also a suite of debugging tools that gives visibility into its inner workings. It includes refactoring the systems to enable a greater degree of parallelization, adding GPU instance culling to hardware ray tracing, optimizing shader compilation, and more. continues to receive enhancements, starting with a new tessellation feature that enables fine details, such as cracks and bumps, to be added at render time without altering the original mesh. Plus, the addition of software variable rate shading via nanite compute materials brings substantial performance gains. Architecture. Next up, UE 5.4 introduces a new motion design mode that's been developed in conjunction with leading broadcasters. It's equipped with specialized tools for authoring complex 2D motion graphics, including 3D shapes, cloners, effectors, modifiers, animators, and more. In this release, the virtual camera tool is now supported on Android as well as iOS. VCam workflows are also now fully supported in Unreal Engine on macOS. On the VR scouting front, we've introduced a new, fully customizable toolkit that utilizes XR Creative Framework to support OpenXR HMDs such as Oculus and Valve Index. For ICVFX, we've added depth of field compensation for in-display. Using the real world's camera position and lens parameters, it renders a corrected depth of field in Unreal Engine on the LED wall to compensate for the additional blurring introduced by the physical lens.